What's up, you guys? Slim here with a new video today. We're here to talk about the first place Burning Abyss UK national winning deck by Thomas Rose. And we're here to mostly talk about why Burning Abyss won UK Nationals. I knew this completely blew everyone out of the water. We all thought, myself included, that Trickstar, Brandish, Trickstar, Skystriker was going to win this event. It felt like hands down it was the best deck. It has been the most represented since the deck came basically to fruition at one of the other nationals, and then at YCS New Jersey. You guys already know it was the most represented in Top Cut, and a lot of people thought for sure that that deck or Goki or pure Sky Striker was going to win this event. Mostly everyone had their money on Trickstar Sky Striker just because of the vast amount of people that were playing it, the amount of representation, not only in the overall tournament, but also in the Top Cut. And then, just overall what the deck does. Everyone thought, this deck is going to win. The new end of the match procedures, they're absolute trash. You guys already know that. But the fact that that deck just literally shines in time. It's one of the main decks. One of the main reasons people actually play the deck is because of, you can summon a Lycris, just end your turn, your opponent draws and gets burned, and that's game. Like, it happens. It's a terrible rule. I hope they change it. But yeah, everyone thought that that was going to be the deck that ended up winning, but that was not the case. Thomas Rose went in with Sekka, Burning Abyss, and just completely swept the entire tournament. I have yet to watch the finals, but from what I've heard and actually watching the live deck profile, which I will link down below, he basically won the finals in like 10 minutes, something like that. Something crazy like that. He just won the finals in 10 minutes. And the other crazy thing is that he didn't play against Trickstar Sky Strikers in the finals. He played against Pendulums. Shout out to my boy Steven. You guys already know, the Pen God. Yeah, that deck is definitely not dead. We've already been saying it in the videos, but also, the fact it made it to the finals of UK Nationals, and it actually just won the ARG in Atlantic City by Justin Singh. I just thought that was just really crazy. We expect the finals to be a mirror match of Trickstar, Brandish, Trickstar, Sky Strikers, or maybe Trickstars, Sky Strikers versus Goki, and we don't get anything like that. We get Burning Abyss versus Pendulums in 2018 at Nationals. That's crazy. And we're going to get over, the deck and why it won. So we're just going to get into the deck list real quick. Again, the live deck profile will be linked down below. Be sure to check that out. We'll go through it real quick. He played 3 copies of BLS. I mean, that's just insane. You can play 3 BLS. Why not? He actually won most of his games with BLS. Just setting up auto game this with Underclock Taker and like another monster is crazy. 1 Snow, just really good card. You guys already know. His spice for this deck, though, was Rescue Cat. He played 3 Rescue Cat, you guys. Absolutely insane. It's because he has a couple targets in here that can make a Dante or can make an Naturia Beast. I think it's just nuts. I think a lot of people didn't see this coming. You do your Burning Abyss, you special him, you make your Dante, do whatever, and then, you do Rescue Cat, and it's just like, what? Like, it's another, like, starter card that actually lets you make Dante or Naturia Beast, which is nuts. For the Burning Abyss, he played the 1 Barbar, the 1 Seer. He played 3 Fiendish Rhino Warrior, the 1 Calcab, the 1 Libic, 3 Farfa, shout out to Farfa, the 1 Graph, the 1 Tour Guide, you guys already know, and of course the 3 Scarm. Pretty standard. The only Burning Abyss he didn't play was Alec. He said he just didn't like it, and of course he wasn't going to play any of the others that no one was really playing to begin with. These were all the just best Burning Abyss. There were 11 of them, and they did the job. His other spice, though, in addition to the 3 Rescue Cat, was actually, in fact, the 3 Gallus, the Star Beast. The fact that you can summon this off of Rescue Cat is insane by itself. The fact that it's a level 3, which makes Dante, you summon Cat, it brings out 2 Gallus, and you literally just make a Dante right there. Also, its other effect is quite relevant. For those of you who don't know, its effect is you can reveal this card in your hand, send the top card of your deck to the graveyard, then if it was a monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its level times 200, and special summon this card from your hand, otherwise destroy this card. He's only playing 3 spells, you guys. He's only playing the 3 Lie to Sekka, which we'll get to later in the video, but basically he's always going to hit a monster. If he hits a Burning Abyss monster, it gets its effect. Gallus literally does everything, and it does burn damage, and I know I already talked about this, why people play Trickstars. Well, Gallus has that added burn damage, and I hate to say it, but with these new time rules, that can be all you need to win a game, so it's pretty nuts. Also, I think what's really cool is that this is a special summon, which is really, really cool. Instead of normal summoning it, you can just, if you draw it, you can just reveal it, mill a card and then summon it. I think that's just really, really good for the deck. And we'll just talk about the other monster that he played. He also played Elephant. So basically this card is He's just basically there because it makes Naturia Beast. It's another target for Rescue Cat, which I think is just really cool. Rescue Cat, you know, into Gallus and Elephant becomes your Naturia Beast. I mean, I think that's honestly insane. Rescue Cat is a 1-card Dante or a 1-card Elephant, so pretty crazy. It's probably the only Garnet in the deck. You don't want to draw it, but I mean, it is what it is when it can make Naturia Beast, and that can just like single-handedly win you games. And then his hand traps, he paid 3 Ash, 3 Droll, and 3 Valor. Just Valor's like another way to just negate whatever, you know, is in your way and just keep going. And then again, Spice, more Spice. Like, this deck has a lot of Spice, and this is a card a lot of people didn't see coming. This card is Saravis, the Ancient and Ascended. I don't think a lot of people know what this is. It's a ritual monster. You can't actually summon it, but you use it because it has a hand trap effect. And its hand trap effect is you can discard this card, negate the activation. During either player's turn, when your opponent would special summon a monster, banish that card. Never mind, I read it wrong. Yeah, you can ritual summon it. It's during either player's turn when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a monster you control. You can discard this card and negate the activation. So basically, he uses this to protect his monsters. He uses this to protect the Vanity's Fiend that he side decks. He uses to protect just pretty much everything. It like protects the fortress, basically. Protects his Beatrice, protects whatever, and protects his Naturia Beast. And then the opponent's really just out of options. Like, they try to do something to destroy the monster, he just discards this and it saves it. It's another hand trap that no one saw coming. I have not seen this card in competitive play. I don't even know if I've seen it in competitive play, to be honest with you guys. But yeah, so that was the Spice. He played a total of actually 11 hand traps if you count this as one of the main hand traps, and you do because you can't really summon it. And then, of course, his only spell card, no traps, is Light of Sekka because it's Pot of Greed. People forget this does have a graveyard effect, and it is you can banish this card from your graveyard, reveal 1 monster in your hand, shuffle into the deck, then draw 1 card. The card's pretty nuts because if you actually draw the 1 Garnet, you can literally put it back. I think that's crazy. So this card not only being a Pot of Greed, but also lets you mulligan if you mill it and if you draw Elephant, and I mean, that's absolutely nuts. But that's it for the main deck. It is 40 cards, and then we're not going to do an update right now, but we're going to go to the extra deck. So the extra deck is the 1 Dante, you know, comes off of if they decide to destroy Beatrice. The 1 Nat Beast, which I already told you guys, which he makes, and is basically an auto win against a lot of decks this format. The 1 Beatrice, self-explanatory. The 1 Nightmare Shark for time. However, he said he did not go to time at all. His games were very quick, but it is there, you know, for the added, you know, burn damage. This card is interesting. DD Stone King Darius. This is actually one of his only outs to Borreload Dragon. He was talking about it in the live deck profile that this is one of the only outs he has because he found Borreload to be a real problem, and the ability to, you know, just make this off of 2 Burning Abyss is really solid. So that's why he played it. 1 Grand Pulse for back row decks. Double Dante, self-explanatory. He said he didn't need the 3rd. 1 Borreload because Borreload, you guys already know. 1 Decode. 1 Unicorn. 1 Phoenix, 1 Cerebus, just all just good, you know, generic links. You guys already know at this point that the Nightmares are going to be included in pretty much every deck that can support them. 1 Underclock. Underclock is actually extremely powerful in this deck because not only is it easy to make, but you have this backed with a BLS, and you're just doing basically lethal damage with it, which is crazy. And the 1 Mermaid, the one thing he said about Mermaid is Mermaid was there basically to link away and then have an arrow that was pointing down to you and not to your opponent. So really solid. So that's it for the extra deck. On the side deck, just 3 Sphere Modes, handles Goki, 2 Vanity's Fiend. This was like the bread and butter. This with the Saravis because you just protect it, and like a lot of any deck it's heavily reliant on special summoning like Goki or whatever, like literally just can't even play against a Vanity's Fiend, so it's just nuts. The 1 Shaddoll Dragon just added like an MST that you can send off Beatrice, etc. 2 Ghost Ogre, just more hand traps for Goki because Goki is just so prevalent with its ability to, you know, just extra link you and its ability to just go off, that Ogre just gives you more, you know, more of a defense against that deck. He plays the 3rd Soraya. Like I already said, this card is nuts with Vanity's Fiend, but also to protect pretty much anything just to keep him in a winning position. And then he talked about the last 6 cards. You know, as you guys know, with Light of Sekka, you can only play Light of Sekka, and you know, you can't have spells or traps in your graveyard. But the thing is that he would do this whenever he would lose. If he lost a game 1, he would side this in because no one would see it coming. He'd play 3 Deflectors, 2 Anti-Spell, and 1 Imperial Order because basically if you're able to just lock out your... He was saying if you're able to lock out their turn 1, you can basically win turn 2. So that was it for the deck. Now, the main reason is, why did this deck win? There are multiple reasons why I felt it won. Number 1 is I felt people were unprepared and did not respect this deck. I feel that we should know that Dante never dies. Dante has been around for so long, and someone is always going to find a way to do something with Burning Abyss. You guys saw it at Salt Lake, YCS Salt Lake City. We had a top 8 with 60 cards before Grass was gone. Michael Forner from PPG ends up getting 2nd place at a regional with Burning Abyss, 2nd Burning Abyss. Like, it's a deck that is never truly gone. I think people forget about that and they ignore the deck, so they don't even prepare for it. When I say that, a lot of people, you know, if they were siding Winter Cherries, were not siding a Dante. So basically, one of the best ways to beat this deck was to Cherries the Dante, and you know that takes away a lot of the power plays that Burning Abyss likes to do, because Dante is like their main, you know, bread and butter in the deck. So it's pretty crazy to me that, you know, this deck got so far, but when you think about it, people weren't siding that. People weren't really siding anything that really hurts Burning Abyss. They weren't siding, you know, cards like back in the day that would hurt Burning Abyss, like Flying Sea, etc. But I think the main thing is that people were not prepared for this matchup. This deck actually has a very good Trickstar Brandis matchup because the monsters are so big. You make a Dante, you know, okay, it's at 25 in attack, and if it goes to defense, the Trickstar player still has a hard time getting around it because 2500 defense is still a problem for them to deal with. Also, the fact that, you know, he's playing, you know, Snow for disruption. All these Burning Abyss have great effects that disrupt the opponent. He's consistently getting into Dantes, you know, like I said, with the Rescue Cat, the Galluses, etc. And, you know, when he drops a BLS, like, there's really, like, no out for Trickstars. Like, there's not really a lot of things they can do. I mean, sure, there's Widow Anchor if they draw it, or if they're even playing it, like some people have cut it. But I mean, BLS is so powerful that it just can literally just attack and then attack you for game, I think, which is nuts. And I think another reason this deck, you know, won was because not only were people not side decking for it, they just were not expecting it. They were not expecting to go into a tournament playing against this deck. And I think a lot of people forgot how to play against this deck. And on that note, I'll say I think a lot of people don't know how to play against this deck. They don't realize that, you know, the Dante floats, like everything pretty much floats in this deck, and that once they get their, you know, once they get the ball rolling, once they get steam going, you know, the games are very quick. They were, you know, I think a lot of people weren't prepared for this, and I feel like the sheer amount of people that were just expecting to play against Goki and Trickstar Sky Strikers just really suffered because of this. They were not expecting a deck that, you know, plays 3-pot Agreed, that plays all these ways to Dante, that plays, you know, of course, plenty of hand traps to shut down the best deck. If you guys actually look at this, I think there's another reason he won. His hand trap ratios were basically perfect. Ash and Droll, you already know, are the main hand traps of the format. But I think also the fact that Valor was there too is something that I think a lot of people weren't expecting. Not only is it, you know, a hand trap, it's also a light for BLS. You know, it fueled to put more lights in the deck for Black Luster Soldier. But the fact that Valor can just, you know, stop a Candina, it can stop, you know, any of the main guys, it can stop a Kagari, it can stop a lot of things. And I think a lot of people forget that because Valor's kind of been tossed to the side in most decks. And I think because of that, you know, having this, you know, extra way to negate, you know, without having to play impermanence, I think is just what threw a lot of people off. I also think that the side deck is another reason why he won. I say that because I think Vanity's Fiend is another underrated card that, you know, in conjunction with the Cerevis is absolutely nuts. I think that a lot of people didn't see that coming, and if, you know, he drops that card from the hand, guaranteed, they probably had to ask, what does that card do? And probably had to read and were like, oh wow, I guess I just lost. So it's pretty crazy to me that, you know, not only is Burning Abyss doing well, but I also think the innovation is another reason it won. There's a lot of different things in here that you don't really see. Sekka has become kind of like a standard thing, unless you were playing the 60 card build before Grass. But with 3 light of Sekka, you know, you're playing 3-pot Agreed, you're going to draw to what you need, you're going to draw just better hands in general. But I think it's really the innovation coming from the 3 Rescue Cat, coming from the ability to play Elephant to make Naturia Beast, and the ability to play, you know, Cerevis is another, you know, like line of defense, another just really good hand trap. And I'll talk about the last thing, I think that reason he won, and I am just going to come out and say it. I think Naturia Beast. I'll be perfectly honest, if you look at this format, if you look at the main deck, Sky Striker, Trickstar, Goki, maybe not Goki so much, but Trickstar, Sky Striker, and Sky Strikers in general, as, you know, easily in the top 3 decks. We'll take Goki out of it because they don't play that many spells. But if you look at it, if you summon a Naturia Beast, the deck struggles. The deck absolutely struggles because you play a lot of spells so that you can get a lot of value out of your engages and whatnot. But when you're staring down a Nat Beast, which can just literally, you know, just negate, you know, any spell you play, you run out of steam fast, you don't really have outs to it, and you basically just lose for free. A lot of things he was saying, and I mean, he was being honest that a lot of his games were free, a lot of his games were simple, because people were just not prepared. You know, if he knew he was playing against Trickstar Sky Strikers, all he's got to do is make a Nat Beast, you know, protect it, he has his Burning Abyss monster to do what he needs, and he's got hand traps to back it up. You know, the opponent is not going to be able to recover, be able to get enough advantage to even come out of situations like that. So I think overall, that those were like the main reasons it won. Now, the last thing to talk talk about is, do I expect to see this deck at our nationals this upcoming weekend in Texas? Yeah, I kind of do. I think a lot of people are going to actually try this out. I don't think it'll have a heavy representation, but I think people will definitely try it out. I think the concept is honestly insane. I'll be honest, I didn't even think of, I don't think a lot of people thought of Rescue Cat and Gallus and the synergy it produces, because not only is Rescue Cat just like a card people remember from back in the day, but the fact that it can set you up for Dante or Naturia Beast is absolutely nuts, and the fact that if you draw the Gallus, it's still not bad. You're still milling, you're still burning your opponent, and you're still getting the ability to, make a Dante or a Nat Beast is just nuts. But overall, I think this, just really cool, and, shout out to and congratulations to the winner, Thomas Rose. This is crazy. A lot of people weren't seeing this happening, but again, the reasons why people just weren't prepared for the deck at all, and I think the fact that they were just taken by surprise, the fact that they didn't side for it. And I mean, let's be honest, I don't think a lot of us were siding for it. I'll be honest, I don't have Dante as a cherry target in my deck, but that's definitely something that's going to change after this, and I think a lot of people are going to agree with me that you got to respect the deck. You got to respect when you see it somewhere, you see it doing well at a regional, you seeing it doing well, you got to think at nationals, where everybody plays everything, it could happen. So yeah, definitely insane. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave the video a like. Let me know what you guys think of Burning Abyss winning the UK Nationals. Be sure to check out the live deck profile down below, and let me know if you want to see more videos like this where we talk about decks that win main events and why they won the event. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.